When the chill hits the air and the daylight fades, the pumpkins give way to the Christmas parades. The porch lights glow and the neighbors wave, and we all remember the love we gave. There's a story in every candle's flame, a memory whispered in each name. From laughter to tears, from peace to strife, it's all the good things in life. So gather around, friends, the season's begun. A time for the heart. For thanks, for fun, we'll share some songs, a laugh, a light, and count all the good things in life.
Well, happy Thanksgiving, everybody, and we are getting close. 2 days to the great day, the feast, when family gathers and everybody is hopefully home or with people that they love and able to celebrate and at least take a day off and give thanks for all the blessings that we have in the world. One of the things that I wanted to do was to try to help understand people why they go home. And growing up in Freeport, Illinois, and I have a lot of friends that listen to the show, I thought I would do some memories and the foundation of where Freeport began and where we got our heritage, because everybody has their heritage, and I have mine. And mine started in a little town called Freeport, Illinois. It's in the northwest part of Illinois, and it is a glorious little town that we all really, really enjoyed being part of. It was a lot of German tradition and great people. Great place to grow up. But let's go back to the heritage, and I thought it'd be interesting. As the story began in Freeport in 1832, when a German immigrant named William Tutty Baker, Tutty, T-U-T-T-Y, arrived with little more than ambition and willingness to feed strangers. Baker built a small tavern, a stagecoach stop, a trading post at the bend along the Pecatonica River. But it was his kindness, free meals to travelers heading west, that gave this settlement its name. People said, "Go to Baker's place. It's the free port." And soon enough, that's when everyone started calling it Freeport. Stevenson County, where Freeport was established in 1837, is a settlement that grew very quickly. It had a milling hub, a stagecoach, crossroads, a trading post for farmers heading to Galena or Chicago. In 1853, Illinois Central Railroad roared into town, and Freeport changed forever. Well, it's my hometown, and it's a hometown that I'm very, very proud of. And it was a time when, as a baby boomer growing up in the 50s, we'll get to that in a little bit, but it's where we have this deep heritage, and that's what I've been trying to sit and talk about, family coming home. And why do they come home? Well, they come home to be with family, and they come home to remember, and they come home to share memories. But right now, I have a little song about Tutty Baker, when Freeport began.
On the rolling prairie, where the cold winds glide, where the Pecatonica whispers and the fields lie wide, a wandering man with a hopeful plan built a tavern by the river with his own two hands. They say the smoke curled gentle from his chimney stone, and the tired and the hungry never left alone. He gave his bread for free to every traveling soul, and that's how a little town grew a mighty heart of gold. Oh, come on down to the Freeport, friend, where the lantern's lit and the road finds its end, where Tutty Baker opened wide his door and strangers became where the story ran. That's where Freeport, our Freeport began. There were wagons in the frost, horses steaming in the cold, German hands shaping futures that their children would hold. With a stagecoach stop and a trade-in stand, Tuddy's kindness spread like fire through the northern land. Farmers came from Galena, from Chicago's growing shore, resting, sharing stories on that humble wooden floor. A handshake sealed the promise of a place that felt like home, where every dusty traveler found a table of their own. Oh, come on down to the Freeport, friend, where the lanterns lit and the road finds its end, where Tuddy Baker opened wide his door and strangers became neighbors evermore. On the prairie wind, where the story ran, that's where Freeport, our Freeport began. So County born in 37, railroad dreams in 53, iron tracks and open heavens shaped the place where we're meant to be. So come on down to the Freeport, friend, where the past still whispers in the grassland bends, where kindness built a town of pride and grace, and history's heartbeat still warms this place. On the prairie wind, where the story ran, that's where Freeport, our Freeport began.
Well, that's where our heritage began back in the 1800s. Can you believe that? Just 1832 to 1850. Freeport became a really cool place, very welcoming, and a lot of Germans lived there, but Tuddy made it welcoming for everybody. But then as we grew up, the 50s came along, and yeah, I'm one of those baby boomers that was born in 49, and our friends were part of the evolution in the 50s, where there had to be a church in every corner and a school in every neighborhood, and little grocery stores were what served us, not supermarkets. Well, I guess we did have a Piggly Wiggly and an A&P, but we always had to make that one quick run up the hill to Joe's Grocery to go get a loaf of bread and a gallon of milk. It was about 95 cents. I got to keep the nickel. But in the 50s, Santa always was part of our Christmas holiday tradition, and this is why we call it home, because this is where we had our foundational memories all made. We played with Slinkies and Barbie dolls and Lionel train sets, and sometimes we got just crayons and coloring books, and oh yeah, that game called Operation, where we tried to somehow pull things out of the inside of this guy that was laying there on the table, and the buzzer went off. And then there was knock hockey. That was fun, but it was all great times. Christmas in the 50s were something special, and this is what is part of our home and our tradition. Christmas in the 50s up next, when Santa was real.
Snowflakes on the window pane, a soft December chill, the smell of Grandma's cookies drifting down the hill. Dad's outside untangling lights that glow in red and blue, while Mom hums silver bells, her apron shining new. It was Christmas in the 50s, when magic filled the air. Roy Rogers shooters on our hips, no worries, just a prayer. Swing bikes in the hallway, trains that never end, back when Santa was real and family was our friend. Barbie dolls and chemistry sets, the smell of cedar pine. Tin tab gas stations built by hand, our dreams were right in line. Pop told us stories, Graham brought one more pie. We'd sneak another cookie and promise that's the last time. It was Christmas in the 50s, beneath that tinsel tree, big bright bulbs and flannel PJs, laughter endlessly, Daisy BB rifles shining by the den, back when Santa was real and family was our friend. Oh, the nights were cold, but the hearts were warm by the fire's flicker and Grandpa's charm. We'd whisper our wishes in candlelight glow and pray for the morning, wrapped deep in the snow. Lionel trains and slot car tracks, sisters painting scenes of snow.
The thrill of Christmas Eve midnight, when the clock struck 12 below. We'd hear sleigh bells in our heartbeat, feel the magic in the air. Believe it lasts forever if you keep that Christmas there. It was Christmas in the 50s, where love would never end. Roy and Trigger rode the range, imagination's friend. Operation Dollhouse, crayons to the end, back when Santa was real and family was our friend. The snow still falls, the fire still glows, we still believe, as the good Lord knows, in every hug, each gift we send, Santa lives on, where love begins again. Back when Santa was real and family was our friend.
Well, Santa still is our friend, and as time went on, we grew out of the 50s and hit the 60s and went from grade school. I went to Blackhawk School on Blackhawk Avenue, and a lot of all my other friends gathered from around Freeport, Center School, Douglas School, Empire School. Just so many great schools. But we grew up and we became what were called Freeport Pretzels, and there was a Catholic school, Aquin High School. And we shared this common experience of being a Freeport Pretzel. It went on later to become #1 name in America, USA Today, back in, I think, the late 1990s called it that. Well, we rode our bikes from dusk till when the lights came on. We went to our cousins and our aunts and our uncles. We always could walk in the front door as our freedoms became greater. We could ride around Freeport on a bus for a dime. We could go downtown, which was really, in my case, only 4 or 5 blocks away. But for a dime, I could ride the bus, and it would take me all the way through the heart of Freeport. They had two different routes. One went out Stevenson and one went up Oak Street, but they all ended up only being a block away from where I lived. It was pretty convenient, all for a dime. We participated in athletics. We had our first dates. We had our first kiss. We had our first prom dates. The first Sputnik was launched in the 50s, and we had the space race that began. NASA was created, and in 1962 we lost our president. Foundational memories, and that's what makes us come back home, because they never go away. And we were Freeport Pretzels, class of 67.
We were kids on the prairie in a simpler time. Nickels in our pockets, the whole world on our minds. 10 cents bought a bus ride to anywhere we'd roam. Across the old Pretzel city, the place we called home. Saturday mornings meant cartoons at the patio show, with popcorn and laughter in that projector's glow. We stopped at the magic shop, dreaming big dreams. Messing in Becker's windows, shining like movie scenes. We were Freeport Pretzels, class of 67, running wild in a town that felt like heaven. From marbles in the schoolyard to skating till dusk, life moved slow and love moved just enough. We were raised on memories you just can't forget, and we carry Freeport with us yet. Every August meant Levi's from E&W, sharp creases for school days that always felt new. We rode our bikes from sunrise to the end of the street lights, chasing summers that lasted a lifetime in our sights. Crape Park's river froze deep and wide. We'd skitter down the ice in a fearless glide, past the twin caves where the shadows grew. But we went anyway, that's what Freeport kids do. We were Freeport Pretzels, class of 67, growing up under Illinois skies so open. From the Pecatonicus whisper to winter's bite, we learned courage, laughter, and doing what's right. We were raised on memories too warm to forget, and we carry Freeport with us, yes. We remember where we stood when Kennedy fell, the silence in the classroom, that moment we all felt. And teachers who shaped us, Norm and Nate and Chance, voices that taught us how to dream, how to dance. We had heroes in hallways, legends on fields. Some left too early with wounds that never healed. But the biking, the friendships, the laughter, the town, those were the gifts that still circle us now. We were Freeport Pretzels, class of 67, and the years roll on like a hymn from heaven. Thanksgiving brings us back to where our hearts belong, to the meals, the blessings, the stories, the songs. We honor those gone, we cherish those met, and we carry Freeport with us yet. Yes, we carry Freeport with us yet. For all we lost, for all Freeport lives inside us, yeah.
Well, all those that grew up in Freeport remember skating out in Grape Park, which Grape Park spelled backwards is Grape Park. Krape Park. I'm not sure, I still know why it's called that. But certainly going ice skating and up and down the river, and it was cracked, but it was clean. And you had to climb up into the warming house, because you go and get some hot cocoa and at least warm up. You know, about the most thing I ever wore was a sweater and some blue jeans. We didn't have fancy clothes back then. We had what we got. Got them from E&W Clothing House in downtown Freeport. Great stores in Freeport. I'm telling you, when you went down there in the 50s and 60s, we saved our nickels and dimes and made our list for all of our relatives, what we're going to go buy, and somehow we went from store to store. I love going in and seeing the Witties and Ringers and in the Sal Levy's, and had to buy my dad probably some kerchiefs or handkerchiefs and some kind of jewelry, and in Ringers. We had these two great nickel and dime stores. They had Woolworths and Kresge's, and you could go in there, and I'd go in and sit when I was young with my mom, and I think I had a tuna sandwich and probably some French fries and a chocolate shake. And as we got older, we could go to Emmert's and have a cherry Coke, really made right there at the counter. Spritzers. Fullerton Bakery, I mean, want to go get fat? Great. Fantastic pastries for the holidays or any day. Seemingly always ended up somehow at the Sizzle Shop, a place down the street near one of the theaters, where in the evening after going to a show, we'd go in there and have a burger or something, and it was served on tissue paper. Who could forget? Fine china wasn't a thing. But as it always does, the snow would fall in Freeport, and Christmas would come every year. Like it is this year. And this is called The Snow Fell Slow in Freeport.
The snow fell slow in Freeport. The world was hushed and white. Street lamps flickered softly like angels in the night. I walked those quiet sidewalks where memories softly glow, and every step reminded me of all the love I know. Sometimes heaven whispers in the hush between the storms. The snow fell slow in Freeport, and my heart was safe and warm. Love, faith, and belonging, the beacon that always guides you home. Mid-tempo country folk, hopeful and comforting. Grandma's porch lights burning like a halo in the night. No matter how far I've wandered, it always feels just right. That little glow of mercy, that simple golden flame, tells me love's still waiting and calls me home again. Maybe fate's a porch light too that never fades away. Grandma knew the good Lord's love shines brightest when we stray. Perfect as a mid-set sing-along, evokes tears and smiles together. The first ornament, remembering those we've lost and the love that stays. The first ornament hangs gently. It It's gold a little worn. It's more than just a memory. It's a love that's been reborn. Each year I place it carefully beneath the star above, a tiny glass reminder of endless Christmas love. Years may pass, hearts may ache, but this tree still stands the same. The lights don't fade, they just reflect the ones who gave us their name. Picture this one late in the show, reflective and spiritual. Cookies for the angels, childhood joy and giving, childhood joy and giving, fun full of laughter, a family sing along.
Jingle Bell Rock meets rocking around the Christmas tree.
We bake cookies for the angels, frosted wings and candy smiles, with sprinkles made of laughter that could stretch for miles and miles. We left a plate on heaven's step with love and sugar sweet, 'cause even angels need a snack when they're dancing to the beat. Save one for Santa, save one for Pop Pop too.
Well, my pop-pop was the dearest man in the world to me, who raised me and took me to the cottage every weekend during the summer over Lake Eganza. And we'd go and open up on a Friday night, and never knew how many relatives were coming because, you know, there weren't cell phones back in the 50s. But he always was that guy that taught me everything in life. He was a naturalist and believed in a very simple, kind life. We would try to fish on Friday nights. We used what were called Hildebrandt spinners with frozen shrimp. We'd go down to the tavern and I'd sit at the bar. He'd have a beer and he'd give me a couple of dimes to go play electronic baseball in the pinball machine, and I was lucky enough to get credits just to make that dime last for as long as he wanted to be there. Saturday mornings we'd get up and run into Stoughton because we always had to buy a widget or a gidget or a gadget or a bolt or a nut because we had to fix the boat or the ramp or the something in these small little cottages. Relatives would show up on Sunday, and thank goodness we had caught anywhere from 50 to 70 white bass on a Friday night, and he'd clean them miraculously like one a minute. I'd end up mowing the lawn and hunting night crawlers at night. We'd go fishing again on Saturday. Times were simpler. I didn't play Little League. I was always in the car at 3:32 if it was a school day on a Friday afternoon. My grandfather, my pop-pop was there waiting. Car door open. We're an hour away. I was a kid who would go be playing at the lake in the 50s. They were a simple time, and Freeport was that home we all grew up in because times were simple then. And that's why today they always come home. That's in fact our next song.
Snow on the rooftops, a glow in the town. Old memories smiling as the sun settles down. Through the cold and the miles, they're finding their way, coming home to the laughter where hearts always stay. They always come home through the wind and the gray, down the old country road where the porch lights still play. For the warmth of the fire, for the turkey and grace, for a hug from old Gram and her smile on each face. No matter how far that they always come home. Mac and cheese bubbling, pies in the air, mashed potatoes and gravy, love everywhere. The children are giggling, the dogs by the door, the scent of tradition, we felt it before. They always come home through the wind and the gray, down the old country road where the porch lights still play, for the warmth of the fire, for the stories retold, for forgiveness and peace, and in hand they still hold. No matter how far that they roam, they always come home. Christmas lights waiting, the carols begin, the snowflakes and candles, the love deep within, the fences mended, old hearts made new, at the table of blessings where dreams come true.
They always come home to the feast and the flame, where the grace we remember still whispers our names. And though time may pass and the children all grow, they'll follow the love through the frost and the snow.
For family and faith, for the hearts that have grown, no matter how far that they roam, they always come home.
Well, hopefully the weather this year will be decent for travel. We learned in our last show it'd be 360,000 flights. 80 million people will be traveling. Biggest travel day of the year will be Sunday when everybody's trying to go back. And my belief is that the days before Thanksgiving now are like a lot of vacation days. They're very slow. You go outside and you can even see it. There's not a lot of cars on the road right now. But living 70 miles west of Chicago, I can guarantee you that big town begins to empty out. More people leave it than more people go to it. That's just my belief. I don't have anything to base that on fact. But no matter where you go, there's always a heritage of love, of family and friends. When you get back home, you don't even know where to begin. You know, you gotta pet the dog and kiss mom, and hopefully everybody in your family is around where you can give them a big hug. Siblings still tend to hold their grudges and not let them go, and try to find a way to sit around the table where they can still have fun. There's always a new child or two, a new cousin to meet, a new spouse, a new girlfriend, a new boyfriend coming home for the first time. Boy, that's always exciting when a couple brings home that first important person they're going to introduce their family to. But there always is what we call a heritage of love. Again, growing up in Freeport, we had the world's best coaches in Nate and Dean and Coach Chance and Coach Norman. All our teachers, they gave us a basis of what we have today. And that's a heritage of love. Up next.
There's a photograph in silver frame, faded edges, familiar names, Granddad's smile, Grandma's hands, built this home on promised land. They passed down faith, they passed down grace, stories written on every face, a patchwork quilt from heaven above. We are the threads in the heritage of love. It's the laughter heritage of love. So let the candles burn for those we miss. Let the children feel their gentle kiss. We're all just chapters in God's design, linked together through space and time. It's the laughter and forgiveness, the memories we save, the footprints in the snow that lead us to the brave. From heaven's choir to earth below, the story still unfolds in every heart that knows that love never ends. It's who we are made of, our timeless gift, the heritage of love.
Well, as we grow older, we go to school and we find that somebody special, and then all of a sudden you think, well, back then, this is in the 60s and 70s. And in the 70s, I started having babies. It's hard to believe now they're in their 50s. But boy, I'll tell you what, I was blessed with 4 wonderful sons, and this year is the 20th anniversary of 20 years ago. We almost lost my 4th son due to viral encephalitis. And the good Lord looked down during those times 20 years ago when the outcome didn't look very good at all. And I said a small prayer, and I said, Lord, if you save my son and give him back to me, I will pay it forward and try to live the best life and provide to others as I possibly can. About 15 years ago, the idea coming from a compilation of my grandfather and the experience of miracle with my son. Now celebrating 20 years of life after that particular point in time. Doing great, and all my 4 sons are. I have 4 grandchildren, 3 granddaughters, and an amazing grandson. And I learned, and I was at a golf tournament one time, and young lady I was going through a buffet line, and she said, what are you doing? I said, well, I do some podcasts, and I like to talk about travel and golf and recreation, family, fun, sports, and even having a sip or two. And she says, oh, all the good things in life. And I go, well, you know what? I think, if you don't mind, I'll take that as my company motto. So at some point in time, we had to write that song, and it's coming up next because we like to celebrate, and hope you do too, all the good things in life.
The air turns crisp, the candles glow, the streets wear white, the fire's slow. Laughter echoes through the halls, a child's first snowflake softly falls. From Thanksgiving plates to mistletoe, we count the blessings we all know. It's not the gifts or fancy lights, it's love that fills these winter nights. Here's to all the good things in life, the laughter, the love, the sparkling light. From clinking our glasses to hugs by the fire, to memories made that lift us higher. We're dining and sipping with hearts open wide, traveling through time where dreams still reside. Family, faith, and joy shine bright. Oh, here's to all the good things in life. Mom's in the kitchen, Dad hums a tune, the kids hang stockings by the moon. Grandpa tells stories the old records play of Christmas past and yesterday. From cocoa kisses to snowy drives, we feel the spark, the season's alive. It's the simple things that make us whole, a warm embrace, a grateful soul. Here's to all the good things in life, the laughter, the love, the sparkle and light. From clinking our glasses to hugs by the fire, to memories made that lift us higher. We're dining and sipping with hearts open wide, traveling through time where dreams still reside. Family, faith and joy shine bright. Oh, here's to all the good things in life. So raise your voice, let carols fly to friends and strangers passing by. Let's fill the world with peace and cheer, the way we do this time of year. From the heartland towns to ocean shores, love opens up 1,000 doors. Here's to all the good things in life, the sparkle of snow, the warmth of light. Here's to the dinners, the dreams and delight, the stories that dance through this silent night. We're dining and sipping, hearts open wide, believing again like a child inside. From now till forever, let joy be our guide. Oh, here's to all the good things in life. Oh, love, laughter, and peace tonight. All the good things in life.
Well, hopefully you can find this Thanksgiving and through the holiday season a few of those good things in life. One of the things over the years I've always done, I learned from my grandma Foy, is how to cook turkeys, and sometimes it was way too much salt, but I learned how to modify that as the years went on. But always starting with a butterball turkey, and I know there's other great turkeys out there, but butterball is just the one my go-to turkey. Sometimes people around me tell me that I'm their go-to turkey. What do they mean by that? But I think it's in love. I hope it's in love. But anyway, I heard years ago that, and I certainly had my first turkey was terrible. 1971, my wife was pregnant, trying to figure it out. We talked about this in one of our last shows, but I added too much salt. My grandmother said, you never can add enough salt. Well, you know, what does that mean? Because it wasn't like a cup full, a half a cup, or what? I don't even know what that, I still don't know what she meant, but boy, she cooked best turkeys and dressing, and I tried to learn from those, and I do most of the cooking now today for my family. Just basically turkey and dressing and corn and just some really good desserts. And the best part about it is I get to snitch while I'm cooking. Make sure it tastes well. You gotta do that. But it just takes some time. But anyway, butterball, years ago, people were investing in butterball, and they decided that because people are having problems with them, they better start what was called the Butterball Hotline, which I thought was, I don't know, what are you going to do? How do you undo a turkey that's already done? Anyway, in light of that, we decided to write some lyrics and come up with a dedicated song to the Butterball Hotline, and that's what we call it, the Butterball Hotline Blues.
Well, it started about noon on Thanksgiving Day when the whole darn family came my way. I got a frozen butterball big as Uncle Stu. Should've thought it out longer, yeah, I kinda knew. Mama said, pat it dry, Aunt Rita said no. Cousin Bobby grabbed a bastard like a turkey pro. But we poked it and we stuffed it till it looked like a balloon. Then boom, it went flying across the kitchen like a runaway raccoon. Now I got the butterball hotline blues, with gravy on the ceiling and cranberry on my shoes. The dog ate half before anybody knew, and Grandma shouting, Lord, what y'all do? Yeah, the butterball hotline blues. They said don't panic, folks, just follow these clues. But the bird blew up and the dog ate the proof, so we ordered Chinese and we called it the truth. Smoke alarm sang like a rock and roll band. My apron caught fire, so I fanned it with a pan. Grandpa yelled, boy, put some water in that pot. Turns out grease and water ain't the combo we thought. Aunt Peggy tried yoga just to calm her soul. Uncle Tony grabbed a beer, said, I'm losing control. So we dialed that number like 911. Said, butterball, butterball, our turkey is done. I got the butterball hotline blues, with taters on the floor and a bowl of mystery ooze. The lady on the phone said, sir, don't light that fuse. But Pyro Uncle Frank never follows the rules. Yeah, the hotline blues. She said, sweetheart, next time read the directions you choose. But we laughed so hard we forgot to be stressed, cause sometimes fair you're still holiday blessed. She said, sir, throw out the turkey, do not feed it to the dog, ventilate the kitchen, and put Uncle Tony in charge of napkins only. Forever. Now we sing them hotline blues, with takeout boxes and leftovers to use. Found joy in the mess and the memories too, cause Thanksgiving ain't perfect, it's a comedy crew. Next year I'm making tacos. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Next year, I'm making tacos.
Nothing wrong with tacos. Except Taco Tuesday can't help you on Thanksgiving. That falls on a Thursday. I actually made tacos last night. They're pretty good. Anyway, everybody gathering around the table. You ever had a food fight? Well, we've never had a food fight, but in the Weckerly side of my family, we always had the best Christmas or holiday celebrations, and mainly at Christmas time we would gather at one of my aunts, and my Aunt Noni, who lived on Empire Street in Freeport, had a house that somehow expanded magically, sort of like Santa's bag of toys. Because you know, Santa's bag of toys has an infinite amount of room on the inside, kids. That's how you can get all those toys in there. It's a magical bag, in the same way that my Aunt Noni had a magical house. And all the cousins, all the aunts and uncles would all squeeze into Aunt Noni's house to have a Christmas dinner. Now, whether it's Thanksgiving or Christmas, sometimes those dinners can be a little fervent, a little fun, and certainly in the Weckerly family. Oh, I guess I gotta tell this story. One time, the uncles, including my dad, after being enough turkey that a small horse could eat, they all decided they're gonna go take a nap upstairs in one of the small little bedrooms, and nobody could find them. And I went searching, and now these houses weren't that big, but I go upstairs and a single just bed made for two uncles and my dad, crashed and snoring, celebrating Thanksgiving. Tryptophan, tryptophan, tryptophan. Anyway, we didn't have these, but the next song coming up is just for fun. It's called The Great Thanksgiving Food Fight.
kids came running when the dinner bell rang, like a stampede herd with a wild boot slap bang. One yelled dibs on the drumstick, the other yelled no. And they wrestled that turkey across the entire table row. Someone bumped the gravy, someone shook the rolls. Grandma yelled, stop, you're waking up the casserole. The drumstick launched like a bird in flight and landed in the punch bowl to everyone's delight. Yee-hee, oh, it's Thanksgiving Day, where the turkey legs fly in a family way. Kids grab wings and white meat, pray while Dad grabs a knife like a TSA. There's too much food and too much noise, but oh my stars, we love these joys. 'Cause chaos is family, and family's a feast today. Now Aunt Sarah wants the wing claim. She called it last fall. Uncle Bill wants white meat and a beer for us all. Dad stands tall with the carving blade, like a ninja chef on a poultry crusade. He slices left, slices right, and nobody move. Meanwhile, pumpkin pie starts a slow dance groove. Someone asks, is fruitcake even legal food? And Grandma whispers, that one's aged real good. Oh, it's Thanksgiving Day, where the relatives gather in opinion spray. There's Brussels sprouts for the brave at heart, and orange jello that looks like modern art. There's too much stuff and too much pie and too much sweet potato sky, but we laugh through the madness, 'cause that's our way. Kids stick collars on their fingers like monster claws, while the uncles argue football and imaginary laws. The fruitcake gets passed like a nuclear core. No, 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 don't cut it, store it 1 year more. The dog sniffs the table don't care. Cousin Tim steals rolls while Grandma says a prayer. Everything's steaming, falling, flying free. It's a food fight wrapped in family glee. Then the tryptophan hits like a turkey trance. Uncle Pete's snoring in a gravy-stained stance. Grandpa's out cold with the remote in hand, and half the family's in dreamland land. Oh, it's Thanksgiving Day, where the chaos roars in a joyful way. There's leftovers stacked in a fridge buffet. Tomorrow's sandwiches steal the day. We'll nap like bears and snore like kings, watching football while the turkey sings. 'Cause the love is loud and the laughs don't stray. Family is the feast of Thanksgiving Day. Somebody wake up Uncle Pete. He's using the dog as a pillow again.
Come on, Uncle Pete, don't use that dog as a pillow again. I know my son Ryan uses his dog, his golden retriever. They have a lot of snuggle time in the afternoon. In fact, I call him my therapy dog, and when I go over there for anything to eat, Rose, I probably weigh 70, 75 pounds. I go and sit in a chair, I look out the window, and she somehow comes up and jumps up in my lap and is very content just to look out the window. But I hope you all enjoyed probably personal view of mine of what it means to go home. You can't define it. We can try to do it in music, we can try to do it in our history, we can try to do it in all those people before us that magically gave us our life, our education, took us to the dentist.